Well, growing up, my parents, they had this plaque over the fireplace that read the School of Hard Knocks. But they weren't just referring to our last name. They were referring to a level of education gained by sometimes negative life experiences. My next guest says you don't have to get that degree to transform adversity into opportunity. Chuck Gallagher has written this book. It's called Second Chances, Transforming Adversity into Opportunity. Chuck joins us this morning to share his insight on growing from mistakes and his own second chance. Hi, Chuck. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Danielle. Pleasure to be here.
It is so good to have you here with us this morning. And I want to start off with something you wrote in chapter 1 of the book. You said, on the day I took 23 steps into prison, I did not recognize all the choices that resulted in this consequence. By the time I took 23 steps out of prison, my understanding had deepened. You went to federal prison. What happened?
Well, I'd like to say something different, but the reality is, in the youthful exuberance of the 80s, I believed that success was defined by the home, the cars, the title, all of the trappings that perhaps people think of success. And unfortunately, I took a really bad path and created a Ponzi scheme. I became a liar and a thief. We know, when you look at Bernard Madoff and the Ponzi scheme and the consequences that happened to him, when you were doing this when you were young, you probably don't really think about the consequences so much, do you? Or is your mind just cluttered with all the stuff? No, it tends to be cluttered with the stuff. And in looking back at it now, I can see that there were 3 components that took place. There was a need, there was opportunity, and I rationalized it. And now I've come to find that many people who make some really bad choices in life, whether it's something as dramatic as a Ponzi scheme or a failed marriage or an affair, tend to find those 3 components still come to life for them.
How much time did you do, and what was your second chance?
Well, I was sentenced to 18 months active and 3 years probation, and the second chance actually came during prison. I recognized something. I recognized that every choice has a consequence. So it occurred to me that if the choices that I made ended me up in federal prison, that perhaps I can make a different, more empowering set of choices that would give me a dramatically different outcome.
Are second chances, though, realistic for everybody and every situation, Chuck?
That's a challenge. I'm not sure everybody, but here's something that I've come to find out. Sometimes we become so preoccupied with the past that we fail to see the potential in the present.
What about the person who has a checkered past, right, and they feel that they have no way to redeem themselves? I mean, are we ultimately defined by our past?
When the house of cards collapsed for me, there was a gentleman that said something that was very profound. He said, son, you've made a terrible mistake, but you are not a mistake. And the choices that you make today will define the future that you will live and the legacy that you'll leave for your 2 children. So are we defined by our past? No. It's a part of who we are.
Sure.
It creates a bit of a foundation, but it doesn't define us. The choices we make today create our future and allow our future to take place.
What is the takeaway here? What would you like to leave our viewers with this morning?
Well, I think you've hit upon a few things that are very important. We aren't defined by our past. It is a part of who we are. But for the viewers today, if a person is willing to accept responsibility and follow a proven theory that works to create a second chance, they can find theirs. And while most of your viewers probably will never have been in federal prison, they might find themselves imprisoned by their own choices. And there are keys to being able to unlock the chains that bind them.
Well, I have to tell you, we're so glad that you got a second chance and you're making good use of it. And thank you so much for coming by and joining us on the show and sharing your story with us this morning.
Thank you so much. It's been a great privilege.
Absolutely. And once again, the book is called Second Chances. For more information on Chuck or the book, please visit the website chuckgallagher.com.